Welcome to lanksports.com for the Week 8 edition of the LL League Insider High School Football Preview Show. Online sports editor Keith Schweigert here alongside me, Jeff Reinhardt. And Jeff, we have a boatload of games to get into this week, so let's jump right in here with our two spotlight games. We have two really good ones on the docket. The first, the Section 1 clash between undefeated, still, Penn Manor. They're going to Lidditz to take on Warwick. Warwick is 5-2, 3-1 in the section, and still technically still alive in the race here. They can go a long way toward getting back into it with a win here. Jeff, this is the game I'm going to be blogging live from on Friday night. What are your thoughts on this game?
Like you said, here's Penn Manor, still humming along, and I keep picking against them, and I got to stop doing that because here they are. I mean, a good win last week, beat Township by a point, held them off, really good game. Warwick has had a couple of nail-biters in a row, beat Reading by a point 2 weeks ago, and then last week held off McCaskey. McCaskey finally put it all together and played a four-quarter kind of a game, but Warwick nipped him at the end. So Warwick's finding ways to win, which I like. I say that a lot. Penn Manor's defense, though, is just really good. They keep getting it done every week. They find a different way every week to make that play, to get a turnover, to do something to get a stop. Undefeated, here are the Comets. They know they have Wilson in Week 9, so they cannot look ahead. This is one of those trap games, I think is what they call them. Yep. Got to stop Eric Resch. That's Penn Manor's job this week. They know Resch is going to touch the ball a lot. Resch has 178 carries, I think, which leads the league. That's a ton. So the Comets will be zeroed in on Eric, that's for sure. I think they can stop Resch. I think they got a great chance. I know they got to go on the road. I know they have to play on grass. I'm picking Penn Manor. I haven't picked them in a couple of weeks, but I'm really liking what they're doing. I'm a believer. I'll go Comets here.
One caveat about Penn Manor there, I was at their game last week, and they did have a little bit of trouble, well, a lot of trouble actually, slowing down Manheim Township's, whatever you want to call them, quarterback, running back, whatever, Dan Wirtz. Wirtz had a really big game against them. Obviously, it wasn't enough to tip the game in Township's favor. And the reason for that is Penn Manor's defense, they bend a little bit, but you make one little mistake against them and they jump on it. In this case, Township tried to double reverse late when they were driving for what could have been a game-winning field goal or whatever. They tried this double reverse. They fumble it. Penn Manor's right there to jump on it, and then they were able to run out the clock. So Penn Manor's defense is good. It did have some trouble with Wirtz. It may have similar problems with Resch because, you can make the argument that Manheim Township's a little one-dimensional with what they expect from Wirtz to do for them. Warwick's a little more straightforward with what they do with Resch, so maybe that's a little bit easier to key on, but they could have some trouble here. Still, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to pick the Comets as well. I picked them. They're going to be 8-0 going into this big game with Wilson in Week 9, so good luck, Comets. That's going to be a good one.
They did slip to third in the league in total D, which is still really good, and you're right, Township did roll up some yards. They had almost 300 rushing yards, a tick under that, so
yeah.
But, we'll see. See if they can go along. But if they can go to 8-0 going into Wilson next week, would be a ton of fun. Wow. Okay.
The other spotlight game we have on the docket is the one you're going to be at. This is the Section 2 showdown between Manheim Central and Elizabethtown. Both teams are 5-2 overall. Manheim Central 4-0, and in first place in the Section 2 standings, Etown right behind at 3-1. Jeff, how about this one?
Wow. I think everybody remembers what happened last year. Yes. Central had won about 20 in a row in the series. Went over to Etown on a Monday night because of the rain out the week before, the Friday night before, and Etown waxed them bad, 56-14. Etown put a number up. If you don't recall, Etown scored kind of late in the game, and that didn't go over very well. So this will be a circle game. I'm sure Central's had this one circled for a while in the locker room, no doubt about it. Stat of the week, drop it on you early. Mike Williams, Manheim Central coach, needs one victory to tie Bob Craig, the former Cedar Cliff and Newport coach, for most career coaching victories in District 3.
Wow.
So Bob Craig had 282, and Mike Williams is sitting on 281. So next Central win, Coach Williams will tie Coach Craig. That's a neat milestone thing. So
you got to do it this week?
I like Central. I know they're at home. They're on turf. They've picked up speed the last 2 weeks. I know they played Effort and CV, and they're both 0-7. But Central's picking up speed, playing well, offense is going well. Dakota Royer's been awesome. It's a circle game. Etown's coming off a gut-wrencher loss to Cocalico last week by a point on their home field. I'll go Barons to stay in first. Get a little revenge.
Yeah, you can't go wrong picking Manheim Central in just about any game, and I'm going to go with them here as well. Due respect to Etown, they are a very good team.
Awesome, really good team.
You know, their 2 losses that they've had this year have both been 1 point losses. They're competitive in every game they play. They'll be competitive in this one, I think. I just like the Barons here.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. Yep.
So let's have a look at the rest of the games on the docket now. We still have some good ones, even though we wouldn't call them spotlight games per se. We're not going to be blogging live from these, but there are some good ones still coming up. First of all, in Section 1, undefeated Wilson, 7-0 overall, 4-0 in the section. They're tied with Penn Manor for first. Yes. They're going up against Manheim Township, who is they're only 4-3 overall, but still 3-1 in the section race, and they're still in it too. So this is going to be taking place at West Lawn on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Jeff, what do you think?
Something goofy always happens in this game. Bulldog punt or some trickery. And I kind of expect the same thing. Don't forget, Township beat them up pretty good last year over in Nashville in the rain. Wilson's tough. Number 2 defense in the league. Only given up 540 rushing yards, which is number 1 in the league. Township coming off another tough loss. It seems like all their games have been like that. Their 3 losses are by like 5 points or something really goofy. I would expect trickery. I would expect Township to pull out the kitchen sink and throw everything they have at Wilson. Reverses, double reverses, maybe some fake punts. I think they're going to do. They got to do that kind of thing because nobody has been successful with Wilson just lining up and running their offense. No. Seriously. A trap game for Wilson in that Township's talented. They have some talented kids, and I'm sure they're going to have an eye on the Penn Manor game for sure to see what's going to happen in Week 9. But I'll go Wilson. I think Township will throw the kitchen sink and do some things, but Wilson's defense is way, way too good, and Steve Huber has been great since he's been back. Bulldogs.
One man's opinion here, I think Wilson is the best overall team in the Lancaster Lebanon League in terms of being a complete team offensively, defensively. I'm going Wilson as well. I like Township. I like what they do offensively with Wirtz, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Bulldogs. Okay. So elsewhere in Section 1, we have Hempfield, who is 5-2 overall, 2-2 in the section race, still maybe not so much in the race for the section title, but looking to position themselves in the district playoff hunt, which we now got to start paying attention to. Hempfield's going to be hosting Reading. Reading, a struggling team. They're 1-6 overall, 0-4 in the league. Jeff?
Reading had 34 rushing yards and 9 passing yards and 3 first downs last week against Wilson, near the bottom of the league in total offense and first downs. Hempfield got it back, 54 points last week. Cummings is back, doing his thing with his arm and his feet. Hempfield rolls here.
Yeah, I'm going Knights as well. Like you said, I think they got their mojo back after getting pretty much embarrassed by Wilson 2 weeks ago. They came out and posted an impressive win last week. I think they do it again here against Reading.
Mojo.
Yes,
nice.
They got their mojo back.
Yeah, they do have it back. Yes, very nice.
The last game on the Section 1 schedule is 0-7 McCaskey, 0-7 overall, 0-4 in the league. Still looking for their first win. It's been a tough year for the Tornado. They're going up to visit Cedar Crest. Cedar Crest, not much better. They're 1-6 overall, 1-3 in the section. Something got to give here, I guess. Jeff,
something's got to give, yeah. Both teams near the bottom of the league in turnover ratio, which is one of my little stats that I look at. Call me nuts. I'm taking McCaskey. I think they get their first win here. I understand they had some kids missing some practice this week. Don't know the whole story. But like the Tornado on turf, use their speed game. They're due. Yeah. The Tornado is due. I'll take McCaskey to break through and get one here.
Yeah, this is kind of a coin toss game. I'm going to go with Cedar Crest just because it's at home, as you alluded to. McCaskey's maybe having some personnel issues with the team. I hate to say it because Scott Feldman's one of my favorite coaches to deal with in the league, but they're really struggling. I think it's going to continue this week. I'm going Cedar Crest.
Okay.
Looking at the Section 2 lineup, another good game. Could have been a spotlight game even. This was a good one between two teams that are tied in second place. Garden Spot, 5-2 overall, 3-1 in the section. They're going to be going to Denver to take on Cocalico. Cocalico 6-1 overall, 3-1 in the section. This could be a good one, Jeff.
Yeah,
what do you think?
This could be some points on the board here for sure. Garden Spot snapped back after the loss to Etown, beat after 30-0 last week. Cocalico, number 1 offense in the league. 459 a game, 2,700 rushing yards through 7 weeks, which is a ton. Kyle Fisher, 1102. He was player of the week last week. Really, really, really like Cocalico a lot. They've really impressed me. I've seen them 4 times. They get better every week. Mm-hmm. I'm a believer. I'll take the Eagles.
I like Cocalico too in this one. Due respect to Garden Spot.
Sure,
I think they're a good team
they're
as
having
well.
a good year.
I just think Cocalico's a little better. Also on the Section 2 docket, we have Lebanon. Lebanon kind of struggling a little bit after a good start. They've lost 2 in a row now. They're 5-2 overall, 2-2 in the section. They're going up against Conestoga Valley. CV still looking for its first win of the year.
Yeah, CV's the losing streak's up to 14. Quick note on CV. Kevin Kelly, their really good tailback. Last week, Coach Novak stuck him in the Razorback.
Oh, really?
He took him direct snaps. He let him take the snaps under center and make the plays. And he ended up rushing for 168 and a touchdown. So look for CV to maybe keep Kelly back there in a direct snap kind of mode. Lebanon snapped back last week, held off Solanco with the gun. I picked Solanco, you remember?
That's right.
41-35 and ended up being. So Lebanon's just fine. Capello's having a monster year. He's been fabulous. CV's defense has struggled, especially with the run. Lebanon's going to get you with the pass. I think the Cedars are okay here, and I think they'll take care of business. Lebanon.
Yeah, I'm picking Lebanon as well in this one. And finally, the last game in Section 2 is another winless team, Ephrata. They're 0-7 and 0-4. They're going to Quarryville to take on Solanco. Solanco 3-4 overall, probably a little bit better than the record indicates,
definitely.
and 1-3 in the Section 2 standings.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think?
Solanco's got to concentrate on getting to postseason here. They need to get wins for sure. 4th-ranked defense in the league, 213 yards a game. Been a little bit with Lebanon last week, 41-35, but hung with them and did some things offensively, which was nice to see. Effort is struggling mightily. They're last in the league in a lot of categories, including total offense and turnover ratio, which is a killer. Mules.
Yeah, I'm going Solanco as well.
Yep, they're thinking postseason, and they can make it. They get to 500 or better. I think Solanco's going to go, so keep an eye on them.
Okay. Moving on to Section 3, we have the Section 3 frontrunners, Lancaster Catholic going up. This is a rivalry game, and and normally this is a game that you have circled on your calendar.
Surely.
But Catholic 6-1 overall, 4-0 undefeated in section play. They're going to Columbia to take on the Crimson Tide. Columbia struggling; they're at 1-6 and 0-4 in the section race.
Columbia's given up the most rushing yards in the league, and they're last in the league in total defense. Not good numbers. Dakota Lightfoot, 1,115 yards, number 1 in the league. Good for him. He's been fabulous. Catholics, really good. 61-0 over Northern Lebanon last week in a circle game that we knew could, revenge game, and they took care of business, that's for sure. Catholics thinking section title.
Yeah.
They're all business. They know Anvil's sitting out there in week 9. Rivalry game, yes. Harbaugh said this week, you throw out the records. Okay. Catholic will take care of business. They'll go to the Hill and win. Probably convincingly.
Yeah. I mean, Columbia plays defense like they're playing with 6 kids in the field. I don't know what's going on here. And yet somehow they're still, thanks to the 8-team bracket in single A, Columbia's still a district playoff team as of now.
Yeah, they probably will get in.
They're 1-6. I see them dropping to 1-7. I think Catholic's going to roll here. Yeah. Also in Section 2, we have Donegal, who is 2-5 overall, 1-3 in the section. They're going to take on Northern Lebanon, who is smarting from that loss to Catholic last week. Northern Lebanon still in the AAA hunt in districts. They're 5-2 overall, 2-2 in section play.
Northern Lebanon needs a snapback, and I know that there was unfortunately, there was a death in the Northern Lebanon football family last week, heading into the Catholic game. So last week was not a fun week in Fredericksburg at all. So they need a snapback. Donegal was shut out last week for the 3rd time this season. I didn't see that coming. 3 shutout losses for the Indians. I think Northern Lebanon gets the snapback. They're at home. I think they'll be feeling better about things. I think they forget about the Catholic game, which they really need to fast, and take care of business. I'll go Vikes.
Yeah, I like Northern Lebanon as well. I just don't think Donegal has the defense or the offense to keep up with them.
Strange year for them. I had Donegal doing better things, but one of those years.
Speaking of teams that kind of surprised me with how much they struggled, LampeterStrasburg, they're 2-5 overall, but 2-2 in section play. They're going to Pequay Valley to take on the winless Braves. And Jeff, we've been saying this for weeks, but LS is sort of showing some signs of turning it around here. 2-5, but if they can somehow win their last 3, you never know, 500. Maybe they get a low seed in districts.
Maybe it's possible, and that's a nice goal. I think that's what they're fighting for. Quarterback problems at LS. Christian Del Rossini is going through some injury things. Chad Fry, the tailback, took some snaps last week. So we have Kelly at CV, we have Words at Township, and we have Fry at LS, running backs taking snaps. So that's whatever works. Pequay is just struggling. They're last in the league in a lot of things, points against, and least amount of points scored. So LS will take care of business there.
You got to pick the Pioneers. Sorry, Peckway Valley, but the struggles are
they're struggling. So go LS here.
And finally, the last game in our docket this week, two Lebanon County teams going at it.
Good one.
Two very good Lebanon County teams going at it, for that matter. Elko, Eastern Lebanon, they're 4-3 overall, but 3-1 in this section, so they're still in it. They're going to take on the Little Dutchman of Anvil-Cleona. Anvil-Cleona 5-2 overall, but tied with Lancaster Catholic in first place with a 4-0 section record. What do you think?
Great game, great rivalry, good backyard scrapper. Love games like this. Elko has been hot. 3 in a row. I've said the names before. Aki, Weatherholtz, Arnold. Those guys have been great. They're all over 400 yards rushing. Love the way Elko's going. Love the way Anvil's going too. They're playing great. Their defense is playing great. Pitched a shutout against Columbia last week. This is a tough one. This is a coin toss game. I think this is a great game. Could be a field goal at the end. I'm going Raiders.
In an upset. In a mild
upset. I hope Catholic isn't looking to Catholic next week. That's my only concern here. Huge rivalry game. They got to be concentrated on Elko. They have to. But they know Catholic's there next week. I think they might get caught looking ahead. Oh, sorry. I'll take Elko.
I'm going to go with Anvil-Cleona just because, for the same reasons you stated. I think, in a game like this where you don't want to get caught looking ahead, all you get is reminded by the coaches who pounded into your brain through the week that, hey, that's first things first. Let's forget about Catholic. Let's take on this week first. And I like what the Little Dutchmen have done this year. I think they're putting together a pretty decent season here. I think they keep it going. I think they're going to be undefeated in the section going up into that Catholic game. So I'm picking them to beat the Raiders this week.
Okay, very nice.
Okay, so folks, if you can't make it to the games on Friday night, as always, come to LineSports.com. We will have you covered. Again, to recap our spotlight games, I'm going to be blogging live from the Penn Manor Warwick game in Section 1 on Friday night. Jeff, you're going to be doing the Etown and Manheim Central game, a big game there in Section 2. Of course, Jeff and I will be working the phones during those games, getting all the scores from the games in progress and posting them on our ticker, which runs across the top of the LineSports.com main page. Of course, on Friday nights, after the games are over, check with us for the fastest finals in Lancaster County. We'll have them up before anybody else. And of course, on Saturday morning, first thing, check out our new scoreboard feature on LineSports.com. All the game finals, all the box scores, and all the print edition stories, all in one centralized location for you. For all the hardcore football fans who want to know about everything that went on, check the scoreboard on LineSports.com. Jeff and I will see you next week. Enjoy the games.